52 yards should be just a nice, comfortable 9-iron for him. They're going to go nuts when he hits this thing.
Yesterday's price is not today's price.
Yo. For the final time in 2024, what's really good? Golf fans, my name is Joe Idoni at Tour Picks. As always, the place to find all of my stuff on Twitter and X. I'm pumped. I'm fired up to bring you the final show of the year, the RSM Classic. Nice field this week. A ton on the line for a lot of players. We'll get into that shortly. First, I got to mention this show has been proudly supported for the entirety of the year 2024 by the good folks over at Rotoballer. If you weren't fortunate enough to be a part of the award-winning, not myself, the other writers, of course, Spencer, Byron, cleaning up, award-winning writers and content creators over at Rotoballer in 2024, we would absolutely love to have you in 2025. I write 4 articles per week over there. I do a long shot specific video that goes up on their YouTube channel. They support this show. I support them. We'd love to have you over there. Got to mention as well, True Linkswear. If you want to use the promo code, they have the best shoes. If you are looking for a gift for a golfer friend, a father, a brother, a husband, anyone in your life that needs a comfortable ass pair of golf shoes, go with the Trues. The OG Kush are my favorite shoes. First round of the year in the 70s this past weekend, all dedicated to the OG Kush. Had me out there. Idoni20 is the promo code there. It'll get you 20% off. Those will be delivered to your door for like $100. You cannot beat it. Shipping is free as well. The good folks over at True support this show. Thank you for letting me rattle those off. I'm pumped to get into the RSM Classic show. If you're here, thank you so much. I have it in the bottom scroll there, but I appreciate the hell out of each and every one of you who have supported this show the entire year. You guys know who you are. I see you in the comments. Say hello tonight if you're here. Thank you. From the bottom of my heart, it means everything to me that people continue to watch this show, continue to support it, continue to tell a friend about it. That stuff means the absolute world to me, as well as being able to bring on incredible guests to talk golf with each and every week, like I'm about to do right now. Recurring guest to the program, friend. He's back down here in Palm Beach. We just made plans to hang out soon. Welcome back to the show, Matt Gannon. What's up, dude?
What's going on? Honored to be on the final show of the year. Why not end it with 2 Palm Beach guys, as everyone knows we are. So, yeah, ready to talk some
Palm Beach
RSM.
Mafia, baby.
Let's go. Let's do it.
Let's do it, man. So the Golf Gambling Pod, you have totally kind of taken that under your wing, and you're going to be running with it for all of 2025, I assume. That's incredible news. Congratulations to you. That's awesome.
Yeah, that's the plan for now. Obviously, the 2 goats, Steve and Boston Capper, went their separate ways, but they taught me the ropes, and yeah, we're definitely going to be doing a ton of shows there. I'm sure I'll have you on for a show or 2 during the year, and definitely tune into the Golf Gambling Podcast. Ton of content there coming in 25.
Would love it. Shout out Steve and Cap as always, but the show is in good hands with you running the program. As many golf gambling podcasts as there are out there, continue to support your friends. Like I said, if you like multiple people, that's great. My voice is probably not for everyone out there, but there are tons of avenues and amazing content creators, as well as storylines in professional golf. I think 2025 is going to be a year, man. This year was kind of just,
I agree.
It just didn't have it. You know what I'm saying? Like I wasn't feeling it all year long, but this past weekend, let's start here. Life-changing moment for Rafael Campos. Rory dominates again over on the DP World Tour. Both of them appeared, while for very different reasons, I would say equally as emotional in terms of coming through on victory on Sunday there, but for very different reasons. What was your big takeaway from either one of those wins this past weekend, Matt?
I mean, I'm just sick of Rory's same story every single year. He does what he does, and that's all he does. But on the PGA Tour side, good for Camps. I mean, sadly, I was sweating against him. I had a Novak ticket. I was feeling all right about that heading into the weekend. And then obviously it didn't work out. He had a chance on Sunday, but Camps got it done. And it's just one of those weeks. Like, the guy 200-1 finds it on a resort course, which we see more times than not. And he's a guy who likes those conditions. And it was a great story. I mean, when you have a story like that, sometimes it's all right to lose a bet because I'll get over it, in a few hours. Well, that's literally life-changing for him. And I'll get there one day. So shout out Camps. Cool watch. Although we couldn't watch it until like they were on hole 11 or some shit like that, which is just a joke and a different story. But it was a good week.
Yeah, cool. Very cool story. I love those type of things, man. Those are the type of stuff that really endear me to golf. Like I think about Campos, I think about moments, even like Johnny Vegas at the 3M, like what it means to guys who have won and haven't done it in a long while. These guys on the cuts, like news came out today that they passed rules to sort of limit the fields and create harder access points, I think, for some of those players like Campos, like Johnny Vegas, like guys who are struggling, like many of the field this week. So to see those moments, right? Because for fans, it's not about the money. We could care less if Scotty or if Wyndham Clark wins 2.1 million in an event. Like for us, we want those compelling moments with stuff like Campos, where you can tell how much it means to him to secure his car, to secure his life. It was really cool to see. The other sort of big news, I don't know if it's big news, but it broke today with the DP World Tour allowing the live guys to kind of come back. Now, you've probably read more of it. I full disclosure have not read the entire piece, but it appears like they are now removing those sanctions that kept a lot of those players and removed their memberships previously, like Sergio, and are allowing them to play in events, which I think is the right move for them. I think that should have been the move all along. And I wonder, and it kind of, I think, speeds up the clock on the PGA Tour to get this done, because if the DP World Tour, they do an amazing job. Like where the PGA Tour can get better, the DP World Tour is already there, creating stories, creating characters, creating compelling content around your events. Young players that are very good and up and coming. Now you mix in some superstars, some more characters into the fold. What are your thoughts kind of on that deal striking back and the guys being able to go and start to play in DP World Tour events?
Well, I think this is the start. And a little birdie has told me, and I'm hearing that we're closer than we think to getting the guys back together. And I think this is just, I'm not sure the order of operations, I'm not sure the details, but I really think it's coming sooner than later. So it was good to see that happen and get those guys back, because we're all sick of it. It's been a few years now. We want our normal thing back. I mean, the tournaments that have had all the guys have been amazing. They've all been beautiful watches. So let's have it more than just 4 times a year. Let's get back to the normal stuff. And I really do think it's coming sooner than later, because both sides are sick of it. The live guys want to come back. The PGA Tours want more competition, because look, the ratings have just been so awful the last X amount of months, and there's only one solution, and everyone knows it. So I think it's coming soon. I really do.
I do as well. And to me, the DP World Tour is such a natural fit during the fall, because you get, even for us over here, I'm more likely to watch the finish of a DP World Tour event that's done by noon so I can get to football than I am to watch the last 12 holes of the Bermuda that's on right during the witching hour of Sunday football. And I think a lot of people feel the same way. What has always kind of irritated me, and I understand why at the time they signed the deal, and I've heard sort of from some sources of mine that this is starting to expire, and I kind of feel bad, or felt bad, for the DP World Tour in a sense. Is the PGA Tour has essentially created like a strong arm relationship with them, where they are plucking their 10 best players every year. Like I saw Rory and was it Tom McKibben afterwards? And McKibben's awesome. He could be a star for them. Like if all things are equal, he is a great asset for the DP World Tour that they should want to keep in-house. And he hugs Rory and is like, I'm going to be joining you on the PGA Tour next year. And it's like, yes, we want all the best players in the world to play together, but is there a world where the DP World Tour can hold on to some of those key assets and continue to market them and build them up within their own market, add in some live guys, and kind of control the second half of the year when things are up against football? I think is great. And it does kind of the relationship where they just have to give up their best guys and recycle every year, and they lose them essentially to what would amount to the NFL draft kind of sucks for them in that deal.
Yeah, well, I mean, they'll never be able to keep up with not obviously not live, but the PGA Tour financially. So it just became, it's becoming a feeder tour more than anything, just another Corn Ferry. But I would say maybe 10 years ago, a lot of the DP World Tour staples were playing on that tour for pride and country because they're European guys. Now everyone wants to play in America because that's like, or not even in America, just on the PGA Tour, if not live, because they're playing for money, they're playing for careers, and the purses are getting bigger and bigger and bigger. But which, I mean, you can't blame anyone for that. But I'm a weekly DP World Tour bettor. I love watching those events. I'm the guy to wake up at 6 a.m. and watch a Thursday morning on the DP World Tour. So when the fields are getting so weak and they're getting tougher to bet, it is kind of rough. And I don't know if I'm going to bet it in 2025 because it's going to be a lot more difficult to bet. So the state of golf is just so hectic, but I do think good things are coming very soon.
Yeah, they can't keep up with the PGA Tour financially right now, but I don't know if the PGA Tour can keep up with itself financially right now.
Well, that too.
They're bleeding so much money in these events. They have to be losing hand over fist until they are able to get something done with the PIF and get this other influx of money. I would imagine the SSG and some of their partners are like ready. Like, what did we invest in here? Like, we are bleeding funds and we're paying these guys out outrageous purses.
One of the worst investments maybe ever. Like, truly maybe ever.
for the product at the time that they invested in, terrible decision. Like, if they would have waited a year and got in after PIF put in its money and they can get some of these guys back, maybe. But speaking of the PGA Tour, obviously this week in the final event, a lot on the line, especially with some of the stuff that the rules changes that come out. Official world golf ranking top 50 spot will kind of close this week. So an invite to the Masters pre-Christmas. You get this sort of fall series on the Aon Next 10, which could potentially get them into Pebble Beach, could get them into Genesis. FedEx Cup Fall Series top 125 gets them a full PGA Tour card. There are a lot. This is a big week and maybe the most important week of the year for a lot of players this week. So a lot on the line for an event that may be discarded by some fans, but is a very meaningful and impactful to a number of PGA Tour players on the fringe.
Yeah, it's definitely. I don't know how they're allowed to just restructure everything every single year. It's unfair to the players. It's unfair to the fans. And no, literally, you and I are some of the most knowledgeable golf people in the world, and we struggle to keep up with what goes on because they just change everything so often. Like I read through the thing today. I'm like, what? I just have to learn a whole new structure. I just learned a whole new structure last year, and the year before that. So it's a mess. I'm sure the PGA Tour players themselves are confused. They're just like, all right, I'm just going to go try to play golf this week, I guess, because that's what I should do. So yeah, there's a lot going on and there's a lot of intangibles and incentives. But I think if you wrap too deep into that and your betting picks, it's just gonna steer you the wrong way. Just stick with the numbers, stick with the brain, and let's go win some money.
Absolutely. Let's go win some money. Let's talk about the course first this week. So obviously we have the 2-course split at the Sea Island Resort for the RSM. They've had it a number of years here. You have the Seaside course, which is a short 7,000 yard par 70. Harry Colt design, Tom Fazio redesign in 1998, which had some, it's more of the oceanside type golf course. And then you have the Plantation course, which is more of a traditional Parkland style course. Walter Travis initial design went through a Reese Jones renovation, and then Davis Love did a big overhaul of this place in 2019. Much more tree line, par 72, which is a little bit different. Still only just over 7,000 yards. Both holes have a good bit of width to the fairways, I would say. Bermuda grass greens. They both ranked inside the top 8 easiest courses on the schedule for 2023. Now, much of that and the only defense mechanism of a short coastal golf course like this is the wind, which early weather looks like we could have some of those gusts. Not quite what we saw in Bermuda, but Thursday and Friday look like they could be, a little bit on the gnarly side. But this place has really forgiving fairways, 40 plus yards wide on the Seaside course. Does tend to narrow a bit the further that you want to push it down there. But the Plantation course is very wide. they got the 4 par 5s on that course, which you just have to eat those apart and make a ton of birdies. I mean, Ludwig won this thing last year at 29 under par. In previous years, it had kind of been between that 19 and 22 under par. Our boy Svensson, the year prior, there was a little bit of wind and rain. I remember our boy Svenny had the rain gear on when he got that thing done
backdoor that
2 years ago. One thing that I noticed here, Matt, that is extremely strong, and you may want to, if you're a person who likes live betting this event, listen to what I'm about to say. A really strong start is paramount, absolutely key at this event. 9 of the last 10 winners have been in 8th place or better after the first round. They've been within 2 shots of the lead after the first round, and most of those guys started on that plantation course, which typically has a little bit easier scoring. It's insane. The only exception to that was Svensson, who was 108th after
I remember that
first round, and then he just totally rallied. But 8 of the last 9 winners have been in first or second after round 2 at this event. So you have to start out hot. If you're not in first, if you're not in like a top 5 slot headed into the weekend, it's very unlikely that this is a spot where you can make up a lot of ground historically at this event.
I also want to bring up something that I have talked about over the last year, and this is something you told me when you asked Adam Svensson which course he liked the best at this course, and he had no idea what you were talking about. I just thought that was a really funny Adam Svensson story because I know I had bet him that week. I'm not sure if you did too, but I always remember that you told me that Adam Svensson had no idea that they had 2 courses here. He just was going
so good. Me and so Tom Evigan, shout out Tom if you're watching this, is one of like the big sponsors of this event, so he gets special invite, and we talked to him about it, and he was like, yeah, I was at the RSM when you won, and which was your favorite course of the 2? And he didn't even remember that they played 2 courses that week, let alone what his favorite was. He didn't know the names of them. It reminded me a couple of weeks ago, I think it was the Black Desert Championship, where first round leader, and they were like, you were close to a 59 there. Like, were you thinking about it down the stretch? She's like, oh, I couldn't really remember if it was a par 71 or 72. So I didn't really know I was going for 59.
And he had no idea what the holes at Augusta were. He had no idea.
No idea. The holes at Augusta.
All right, dude.
Like Phil said back in the day, you either got to be like hyper smart or like a little bit dumb. And like, we know where our boy Svenny rides on that spectrum.
Yeah. But I'm down. Like, I'm down for Svenny this week. Like, let's do it.
Let's talk some picks, dude. I'm going to bring up the board. Let's not waste any more time. Let's go right to the top. So Ludwig Oberg, back in the field this week. Great to see Ludwig back 2 months after a torn meniscus that was actually injured like very early before the PGA Championship. Just kind of lingering, bothered him all year. Pretty minor surgery. He's back this week. If he wasn't defending champion, Matt, I don't think he would be playing this event. So I think it's kind of assumed that most guys try to defend. It's kind of an unwritten rule. So I think he's okay. I'm sure he's been practicing. A little bit nervy for me, though, backing a guy that probably for a month didn't pick up a club and has maybe just started to get it back, into gear. But 11-1, Luddy, best player in the field, highest ceiling by a good margin. Davey Thompson, 22-1. Denny's here. Great to see Denny back in the fall, 28-1. Si Woo, 28-1. Harmon is at 30. I'll stop there with those top 5 guys on the board. Matt, are you going to the top this week when you're making your picks?
Definitely not. I think this is a golf course where a lot of guys are going to hit fairways, and it's going to come down to who can either stuff everything or who can either make the most 15-footers. And with a volatile field and a volatile fall season, I think I'm just going to start down the board and get as many names as possible. But I like what you said about Ludwig. Like, he's back. He's going to hit the ball well, but I really see him struggling on the greens, like, because the golf swing is with him is he's a machine. He's going to pick it up. He's going to hit fairways. He's going to hit greens, but he may not be able to roll 35 birdie putts this week or 30 birdie putts, however many he needs. So, I'm definitely a wait and see, monitor the situation for Ludwig getting back. He's probably going to play one of Tiger's events or the whatever that is in the Bahamas, and then getting on to Hawaii. So I'm interested to see, but I'm probably not going to go to any of these guys.
It was interesting what Ludwig did, because I think there was a very clear narrative before he won last year that this was a place where driving distance and the driver didn't matter. right? When you look at Svensson, who's not a great driver of the ball, Gooch, who's not really a good driver of the ball, Streb, Ty Dunks, Charles Howell, and then all of a sudden Ludwig. But it just goes to show you that you have a guy who can hit it really long and really straight, and there's some guys a little bit further down the board, some young players. You do that well, and you can get to 29 under par, without too much hurt.
100% agree.
Yeah,
but because in these types of events, that like Birdie Fest events that the plotters play well in, elite drivers never play them. Like I said last week, if Rory played the Bermuda Championship every year, he'd win it every year because he's longer and straighter than everyone. When you get an elite driver in a field of short hitters, it's a massive advantage. So I think there's definitely was a path that Ludwig won last year and is the favorite this year. So it makes sense.
Yeah, absolutely. So I have one pick.
I know who it is.
Excuse me. It's not Denny.
Oh.
Although I might add Denny. So I just was looking at one of my books and saw 33 to pop up. If I could see 35, I'll probably be in just for mental health reasons.
Yeah.
But I took Siwoo Kim. 28 to 1 on Siwoo Kim. I thought he was very sharp and was impressed with him in Montreal at the President's Cup. His approach numbers have been pretty solid. I have him 13th in the field over the last 24 rounds, and that's good for Siwoo. Right, he's never gonna wow you with approach, but if he's top 15 over a 24 round span, that's pretty solid. He was, I believe, 6th at the Zozo, or at least had a really good finish at the Zozo, backing on the heels of what we thought maybe a letdown spot after the President's Cup. Shows up here, and it's just a matter of where do you play Siwoo? You play him on short Bermuda courses.
Fuck yeah.
One in Hawaii on a short Bermuda course, one at TPC Sawgrass on a short Bermuda course, one at Sedgefield on a short Bermuda course, one at the Amex on a short Bermuda course. 4 PGA Tour wins, and they all have a very commonality, straightforward path to victory in terms of correlation, which matches up perfectly with the Sea Island Resort this week. I think the other thing about Siwoo, in which I like backing him in an outright market, is the aggressiveness in which he plays. Like, he's either going to play to win or bust out. And
you'll get all or nothing.
He's always a risky DraftKings play, like at 9,600 in DFS. I can see why you may want to go to some safer options below him, like a Ben Griffin or something like that, who probably has a very much higher floor with how he's been playing. But Siwoo has winning potential upside. All 4 wins, like I mentioned, have come on the very same type of golf courses. I'm going to back him this week as my first guy at 28 to 1.
Yeah, I was close to getting to Siwoo too, but I can't argue with anything you said. He's just loves the short Bermuda course, and he's done nothing but stripe his irons. Makes so much sense. I agree.
Okay, moving down just past sort of getting into the mid-range here. Matt Wallace, 33 to 1. To be honest, I was a little thrown off by this number. Was expecting to see something bigger on Wallace. Has he been playing well in the DP World Tour? Or?
Yeah, very well. He's been playing a lot, playing very consistent, and just posting really good metrics.
Okay, got it. McNeely's 33 to 1, Power 33 to 1. There's Ben Griffin at 35 to 1, Harris English 35 to 1, JJ Spawn 35, JT Poston coming off a win in his last start at the Shriners Children's Open at 35 to 1. You got your boy Novak at 40, Kirk, Cole, Hughes, Gim, Glover at 45, Clanton at 45. That's the bunch under 50 to 1 there, Matt. Give me the guy out of the bunch that you like the best.
I like 2 guys in that range. I like Doug Gim and I like JJ Spawn back up top. Also, I like Ben Griffin too. So maybe 3 names.
So with 3 best approach players maybe in the field.
Yeah, Spawn's done nothing but stripe the irons. He had a slower week in his last start. It was a T30, I believe. But Spawn has been so damn good on approach since March. Gim, he kind of peaked after the Vegas event, and he was really chalky at the Zozo, let down. But I think there's a great bounce back spot for Doug Gim. He played all right in his last start. This course asked Doug Gim to do what he does best, and that's hit good iron shots and play from the fairway. And then the last one I said was Ben Griffin. You just don't overthink it. You play Ben Griffin on short Bermuda golf courses. This is a rough number, and he was chalky last week. Played fine, didn't do anything wrong. And I think his his numbers better this week, and I think he'll be less chalky this week. So those three guys: BG, JJ Spawn, and Doug M.
Yeah, like all of them. Like I mentioned, Griffin, I have number 1 in approach. Spawn is top 3. Gim's right up there. Griffin, I think, has substantially better and more reliable short game metrics on and around the green than the other two, especially on
Just
Bermuda.
loves Bermuda, man. It's crazy. Like he gets on
might be
Bermuda,
the
he's
best
like
chipper in the field, like on
it's
this
crazy.
grainy stuff. Yeah, and when he's striping the ball really well, I think that's a super savvy pick. The guy for me, I took the 45 on Lucas Glove. Guys, he's dialed right now, man, and he's playing extremely good golf at the moment. One of the other best approach players in the field for me over recently. 3rd at the Black Desert Classic, 24th at Mayakoba. Sort of middling, like nothing's going to wow you with his results here. The one I wanted to ask you about, and I was kind of leaning into this earlier with the Ludwig talk. Luke Clanton is pretty intriguing to me here. We have not seen Luke Clanton in a little while, but in terms of a guy who hits it very far and very straight, and unlike a lot of players that really dominate and are power players off the tee, guy's super good on approach, man, especially with his wedges. He's really got good hands. It's kind of strange. So I looked from like 125 to 150 and he's 106th, but then you look 150 to 175 and he's 11th. So that shows me that it's probably going to balance out over time. He probably doesn't have enough data there to really get a good gauge on it, but makes a ton of birdies. Number 1 in the field in birdie or better rate, which I think is important, especially in the outright market. You've got to have guys who play extremely aggressively and to win when you're betting an outright, and with the understanding that they're probably going to have to shoot 7, 8, 9 under, one of those numbers at least one day. They've got to go low. They've got to hunt birdies. They've got to eat up those par 5s, which I think Clanton can do. I have not pulled that trigger yet, but Glover was the one guy for me, and I may get in on Ben Griffin. I'm waiting on Ben Griffin because I just want to see if that Denny number floats up a little bit.
Yeah, with Luke Clanton, like he's so impressive. And I was kind of out on the Clanton thing when he first came onto the scenes. I was like, yeah, big golf course, hot little run. And then what I saw him do at Sedgefield, like completely different style from like the US Open and the Rocket Mortgage where he played well. Like his ability to make birdies on that style of course and a wide open bomber golf course is just he's just simply good at golf. He's well-rounded and he's going to be good. I know you said we haven't seen him in a while, but he's been playing a full college schedule. He's definitely dialed. He's got the reps. He knows what to do. He should be really excited for this opportunity. I think he's dropped in that PGA Tour U ranking, or I don't know if he's in it. I wasn't really sure when I looked at that because he wasn't at the top. But like he's done nothing but play good golf, and I don't know if he can make all the putts. I worry about the putter. 50 to 1, 45 to 1. I don't think it's a horrible number because we've seen him in the 20s already. So
correct.
I don't think it's a bad number at all. So Luke Clanton could be considered.
I think high upside. Going above 50 to 1, you've got Straka there, Rogers, Svensson, who we talked about before, Eckroat coming off a win in Mayakoba, Justin Lauer, who seems to be really close at 55 to 1. There's some nice names here. Putnam, Kuchar seems like he might be a trendy pick this week. Matt McCarty coming off a win. Has McCarty played since he won?
No, he played. He missed the cut in Vegas.
Okay, so McCarty has one. Yes, okay, but his like birdie or better numbers have been fantastic. Need to get a little more data in on him. Fishburne, Stevens, Brigman is starting to get that number's floating up to a nice little price there. Anyone let's just open it up kind of above from 50 to 100 to 1, Matt.
Yeah.
Give me a guy or two that you like their chances this week.
I'm interested to see the narrative around Sepp in the next few days, Sepp Straka, because he hasn't played. He played a little bit on the DP World Tour, but I do think he's going to have a better week than his course history suggests. Like he's a Georgia guy. He's a short Bermuda guy as well, but the course history just isn't there. And like Sepp Straka is over the last 2 years, a top 5 player in this field, top 10 player in this field, without a doubt.
I would agree.
And he could definitely win in this field. I was shocked to see his number around 50. I know it's just because he hasn't played in a while, but like Sepp's a winner. Sepp knows how to make birdies in bunches. Like the man shot, what did he shoot? Like 60 to win in at the JDC, whatever.
JDC, yeah.
Yeah, like Sepp is deep, and I thought he would be in the 35 to 1 range for sure. So he's a name. And then I also like Thor Bjornsson around 75 because I like him like the same. I treat him and Ludwig as the same guy. Like I
Yeah,
think they have
he's
play
like
the
cheap
exact same game.
Clinton. Thorne Bjornson's
Yes,
cheap Clinton.
same thing. So a guy who could just bomb it off the tee, get hot with the wedges, and then he's got a really great birdie or better percentage too. He can make a ton of short putts if he gets hot with those irons. So down on those two guys.
Okay, I'm going to mention Svensson. We talked about him earlier in the show. I definitely took him this week at 55 to 1. Been riding him a good bit this fall. Like we mentioned, shot like 60 at the Black Desert Championship, was first round leader there. He's popped. He just has not been able to put it together for 4 rounds. But I've been saying this since the start with Svensson. You get under 7,200 yards, and you should play the guy. He's awesome with wedges. He makes a ton of birdies. He is a streaky putter, which I actually prefer. You know, I don't like streaky putters if I'm taking a guy 16 to 1. I like streaky putters at 55 to 1. At 65, you know, when you start to get in these bigger numbers, obviously has a win here and then back that up with a 5th last year. So has love for this course, although he doesn't know where it is, what it is, who it is. He has no idea about course designer, but he shows up here and the dude balls out. Really good metrics kind of across the board for me. The only thing that's down is the Bermuda putting, but we've seen the spikes. Like he gained 9 or 10 strokes putting in the year that he won here, so we know that it's possible. I actually kind of like the maybe a little bit of weird, like we're down here in South Florida. Like I came out the side this morning and I'm like, a little bit of chill in the air. It's like 70s. So you're the snowbird. It's not chilly for you. I got a sweatshirt on this morning when I was walking the dogs. But Svensson Love 55 to 1. The other guy for me it's 75. I took Grayson Sigg a little bit further down the board.
I've been hearing his name.
Had to kind of I don't know, wanted to throw a Sea Island guy in there. He's one of the tour pros that call this place home. This place is awesome and has probably as many PGA Tour players like on site on the driving range on any given day as any course in the U.S. The training center there is unbelievable.
Have you been there?
What's that?
Have you been to Sea Island?
I have not played this resort. I have been to Sea Island, but I have not played these 2 courses.
Okay.
We played some other ones. We were just off in Jekyll, which I think is like 20 minutes away. I went on a little buddy's trip there.
Okay.
It was cool, but I haven't played there. But Sig loves it here, 8th and 15th. I think that he's kind of been trending over the last 4 months with a little bit better metrics. 11th in strokes gain approach over the last 24 rounds. Top 15 in the field in strokes gain total on short to very short courses, which these play into. Really good on coastal tracks as well. When I looked at these courses that add a little bit of wind into the equation, Sig's there at 75 to 1. What are your thoughts? Let me ask you about 2 guys that I think are trendy picks because they've shown flashes, but I don't know if they're quite there yet. They're both in this range. Daniel Berger or Gary Woodland. If you had to pick one of those 2 this week to have a better week, who would you pick?
Well, where does Daniel Berger win at? These kind of golf courses. And he's finally shown things this fall. I mean, it's been up and down, popped for 1 top 10, but he's shown some good numbers with the approach play. I love how he's putt because the thing that comes back the latest after coming back from a long break is a short game. And he struggled at first a lot, and now it's finally coming back. He's gained 2 putting, he's gained 3 putting, and he's shown good signs in his last few starts. I like Daniel Berger for sure. And there was a period of time where Berger was creeping towards the 30s, and now he's coming back down a little bit, which I think is a fair number. And I mean, this is a former Ryder Cupper. This is a winner. This is a former top 10 player in the world. Like, I think Daniel Berger is getting closer and feeling more comfortable, and this is a golf course that should suit his style of play.
Yeah, a couple of good, like a nice little rebounding fall too, just to mention Gary Woodland. I'm with you. I prefer Berger on this course, but Woodland, top 10 at the Shriners, which was obviously on Bermuda, 15th at the Sanderson, which I believe is Bermuda, but really good approach weeks in both of those.
He's putting well too. I like that Woodland call, honestly.
Yeah, and I think at the Shriners, it was either the Shriners or the Zozo. He's a terrible putter. but he switched to one of those lab putters. It's a little bit longer, like up the forearm, and he's really sort of improved with it, which has kind of been, a little bit of an instantaneous like cheat code for guys who suck at putting. Like when they switch to that, they see sort of immediate results and starting to ball strike it like we remember Gary Woodland. Wyndham +3 on approach, +7.5 at the Sanderson, +5 at the Shriners, half a stroke at the Zozo. So trending in the right direction. Big number for Gary this week. I don't mind it. Moving on, Matt, like 100-1. Any long shots this week? We saw Campos just hit. There's been a few of them this fall that have been massive numbers. Anybody like give me one of your favorite bomb of
Yeah,
the
I
week?
like 2 bombs. I like Alex Smalley and Ryo Hisatsune. I like Smalley on a short Bermuda golf course through and through. He plays that at Sedgefield, and his best result, he's got a T5 here. His best results come on this style of course. And Hisatsune is a guy who likes a claustrophobic course. Even though this isn't too claustrophobic, you got to hit your short irons and a wedge as well, which he does well. And he's played all right in his last 2 starts. Just waiting for that pop week with the putter more than anything.
Okay, love it. I got one. I'll dish out here at 150-1. I took Ben Coles. Purely
I like that too.
what happened
Birdie
in
maker.
ran a model and he was like third in my model, and I'm like, this is broken, this is not right. But when he's third for some reason in 150-1, I feel obligated to take him.
Dude, he's
Long-term
striping it.
approach numbers are really
Striping.
good. Improves his baseline pretty drastically on short golf courses as well. 7th in greens and regulation. So that's kind of been the formula for a lot of guys here beyond Ludwig, who just kind of dominated ball striking from tee to green. The formula has just been hit a ton of greens. And even Svensson said that. I went back and listened to like his presser after his win, and he was like, the big difference for him that week is he said before that, he was basically flag hunting. And I think a lot of guys that come off the Korn Ferry Tour and immediately sort of are thrust onto the PGA Tour are in that mindset to just kind of attack pins a lot.
Right.
And what he said that week, and is part of the reason why he gained so many strokes putting, is because he just played to the middle of the green. He's like, I wasn't even concerned with the flags. I just wanted to pound greens in regulation. And you're giving yourself 20 to 25 feet, and you make a couple of those, and you gain a ton of strokes putting. That's kind of how that works. So I think that's a formula that could work out okay for Coles. Good, decent course history here, good coastal history. He just checks a lot of boxes, especially with his wedges. So 150-1 was kind of a big price on him that I ended up grabbing.
I agree. No, yeah, I bet him recently. So like, if you like any guy in the fall, keep riding him because all the courses are fairly the same. And
hang with him, dude. This is what you were on Svensson when he won, correct?
Yeah, I had mentioned that week.
I remember it was like just me and you that week. And I remember what happened was a lot of people were on him like very early in the fall.
Really?
And he kind of fell off. And
He
then
was
his
100-1,
number,
I think, that week. Was he
what's
that?
that?
Was he that? Was he 100-1 when he won?
Yes. I think I
Yes.
had 110. Let
Yeah.
me look. I'm going to pull it up right now.
Yeah.
Because he had really, what had happened was I just kind of stuck to my guns there and kept playing him. Okay, yes. So he was on a terrific run through like that summer. And then starting at the fall swing, 54th, 69th, 59th, cut, 39th. All of a sudden, the putter flips one week and it's first. But what he was doing is consistently hitting his irons pretty well throughout that stretch. And you get a week. Yes, are you lucky to gain 9 strokes putting? Of course, but it happens. And that's
You
how
gotta be
PGA
lucky,
Tour
yeah.
winners are made.
Yeah, for sure. It's just got to happen in a week. If this is the only sport you can lose 99% of your bets and still come out on top in the year. So you got to be lucky. You got to be lucky.
Got to hit a big one, man. That's why we love betting golf. Matt, awesome for you to join me. Thank you for anyone who's checking out the show this week. You guys are the best for supporting the show all year. Tell everyone who's watching this where they can find all your content for this week and heading into the year of 2025 in an unknown world of professional golf.
Yeah, you can find me over on Twitter at Matt_Gannon_, and then check out the Golf Gambling Podcast via SGPN. They got a ton of great content over there. So, yeah, DMs are open. Any questions, you know where to find me. Love to chat golf, chat about anything. So hit me up.
Listen, if anyone watching this show is down in South Florida, we should plan like a December meetup at Palm Beach National. They've got it. They've got a brand. It's opening back up in 2 weeks. Matt and I have been there before. They're reopening this whole Top Tracer range situation with brand new targets built out there. It'll be a fun night. I'll buy some beers. Anyone who wants to come, hit me up. Are we going to check out TGL too?
Yeah, TGL's got good things coming up. I know it's getting a lot of hate, but I think you guys are going to enjoy it.
Our Jupiter Lynx are in trouble. Have you seen the odds to win?
No, I actually have not.
They've got so I haven't seen them in any of my books, but I saw someone posted odds to win.
That's funny.
Pretty
That's
much
hilarious.
all. So there's 6 teams. 5 of them, they have no idea who's going to be good because no one has any idea how this is going to play, or like either 4 to 5 to 1 to win the TGL championship. The Jupe Lynx 12 to 1. We're going to struggle.
No, our local boys. Got it. That's crazy. That's hilarious that they had those. I didn't even see that because I'm sure
what are we doing on Jupiter Lynx? We need like simulator golf. Don't you just want like bombers that can just pound the ball into a screen and it says it goes 340? We got Kisner, we got Tom Kim, we got Old Man Tiger, we got Homa, who's like,
I think we're going to struggle on speed. We're going to struggle with the speed metrics if we have any Top Tracer competition. So
it's pretty cool though. You doing any work for them or no?
Yeah, I'm still working for the TGL. It just not a lot right now because it starts in January, and I'm doing just like a back end media stuff. So hopefully, once it gets going, I'm doing more work for them because I want to. So we'll see how that works. But I got my foot in the door. So
hook me up with some media credentials. I want to go to the opening week and check it out. I think it's only like 2,000 seats in there. My father-in-law was showing me the setup there. It looks pretty small, pretty condensed, which I actually think could be a cool environment for watching golf. And it's going to be like, people are calling it simulator golf. It's going to be better than that, right?
No,
they're going to
once you see it in
shots.
person,
There's bunkers, there's greens. That he showed me some pictures of it. The green looks insane with little hydraulic like lifts and stuff like that.
It's crazy to see in person. Like on paper, and when you're talking about it, it's like, all right, yeah, I play on the range all the time, the screen all the time. But if you see it in person, it's you can't really describe it. Like everyone that goes in there for the first time, when the guys come in, they're all blown away. Like it is crazy to see. So
there's a ton of money behind it, and ESPN is behind it, and I'm rooting for them. I'm still skeptical. I think, like most people, got to get out to a hot start, TGL. All right. You need content creators. You got to get out to a hot start if anybody's listening out there, because the attention span of the average fan, people are going to give it maybe 2 weeks. And if they're intrigued after 2 weeks, they'll come back. If they think it's bad, they'll never come back.
They'll never come back. Yeah. Only time will tell.
All right, dude. Great to talk to you this week. Appreciate you coming on the show as you always do. When I ask you to, you never say no. So you're the absolute man. Continue to crush it, man. Best of luck this week. We'll hopefully let's hit a winner.
Thank you for having me.
Later, brother. Gang, as I mentioned, thank you so much for supporting the show all year long. The show's streaming live on the Golf Newsnet as well. I'm continuing to hopefully have some new partnerships. Anyone out there who owns a company who would like to support the show, please reach out to me. These next 6 weeks are going to be important for me as I plan for the upcoming year. You guys know that I always put a lot into trying to make incremental improvements each and every year to the show to make it a better viewing experience, a better listening experience, a better overall experience for anyone who takes in this content. Thank you again. Hopefully you all hit a winner this week at the RSM Classic. On behalf of myself, the Rotoballer team, this has been another episode of the Preferred Lines podcast. My name is Joe Idoni. I'm going to see you in 2025. You guys are the best. I'm out of here.